Hi, this is Tammy Lynn Kent, and I am going to teach you one of my most favorite energy medicine tools today. It is almost my birthday, and one of my favorite things to do is work on the birth field and flow. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that and how I came to know more about it, and then I will teach you the exercise that I love to do. It's good to do anytime you're having a birthday, also just when you need a little download of your own medicine that comes from the star realm. And this is a good time to do it with all the change that we're in. So you're going to see the spirits stirring a little bit, and I'll explain it to you. So how I came to first know about this energy medicine is I work so much with mothers and the pelvic bowl, and thus babies and birth. And I work with beautiful birth experiences, and I also work with birth trauma and birth difficulties. I do a lot of repair work for the energy field after birthing, and one of my most passionate things is helping mothers have the birth field and the energetic repair after they have a birth that maybe didn't go as planned. So I write about this. If you want to know more about this, I write about it extensively in Mothering from Your Center, and I just love birthing energetics. There's so much power in the birth field whenever a child enters, and each one of us, when we enter, there's a whole process that happens, and we can access the medicine of that. We can access the beauty regardless of the birth that we had. And so because of that, people started asking, well, what about me? What about as a grown-up? You know, how can I work on my birth field? And yes, you can. So I'm just going to do a little bit of teaching around this. So let me explain it to you first. And this came together through just thousands and thousands of hours of me working with women in their bodies to kind of understand what I was seeing and what was missing and what maybe needed repair. So now I'm just going to explain to you how I understand the energetics of the birth field and flow from all of this work. So when any of us comes in as a baby, or if you've had a baby, there is an opening that happens in the womb, and of course we know that is a dilation in the womb. There's an expansion and an opening so that the child can be born, so we can be born. Well, there's also an energetic portal or opening that's happening, and it looks, again, my favorite toy that I've shown you a few times. This is a good example of a portal. So there's this expansion that happens in the womb and kind of around the womb because it's bigger. Eventually the energetics become bigger than the actual womb, and I really got to experience this after doing lots of energy work and really working on this even in my own body with my third child. When I was especially skilled at energy medicine and could see better the energetics, I really experienced this feeling of this doorway opening, and it was a doorway that opened, and it was much bigger than, oh, my candle's burning. It was much bigger than my own body. So it started out about womb size, and it tends to undulate. There's this opening that's happening, and it goes kind of up and down. And again, there's a field that opens when we die as well. So there's this expansion in the field. And so it tends to kind of almost like breath. It opens and then goes down a bit and then opens. And eventually it gets to a wide open place that really is bigger than the body. So in my experience with my third son, I could really see that it was beyond me. It almost became as big as the room that I was in. So there's this expansion that happens. And then in that, so I'm going to use one of my childhood dolls to kind of explain this. So let's imagine that this is a mother and that this is her baby. I don't know if you can see these very well. It's a little baby in her womb, and that this is the flow around this birth energy. So I'm going to explain this to you. So she's laboring, and in a natural undisturbed birth, there's this expansion in the field that's happening while she's laboring, and it's physical and energetic. And this opening is happening, and at some point it gets to kind of this open point, and you'll usually feel this as a pause. People actually feel this if you've been around a birth or you've given birth. There's a pause before the descent, and there's actually, this happens with death too. There's usually a pause before someone actually leaves their body, if it's a peaceful sort of tended death experience. So they're very similar. So here she is laboring, and it gets to a point, and there's kind of a pause that happens as the field is expanded. Well, that's when the flow starts to happen. So the baby starts to descend. So I'm going to do this with the baby body, but also the energetics down through the root. And with that baby goes an energy flow. And I've come to think of this as the flow of life. It's one's flow of energy of their whole energetics for their well-being, their life, their medicine. We'll talk about this in a moment, but just think of this as a flow that's happening. So there's a baby being born, but there's also an energy current coming through. And it's coming down and through the root, and then usually there's time with the baby on the chest where that current keeps flowing. And then eventually that current kind of goes out into the world. And so I'm not going to talk about birth repair and trauma right now, other than to say that I describe how to repair it if you didn't have this experience. Because babies can still be born, but sometimes that birth flow isn't connected if there's a intervention. It's too much for this video to explain right now. I'll do it in another video, and I write about it in Mothering from Your Center. But talking about you as a grown-up, there's a flow that happens, okay? And so this flow, this river of energy is really, it's coming through a mother, but it's really connected, if we think beyond mother, back to the stars and the mystery, and it's connected to the divine realm on the other side of this doorway. So it's something that can be pulled through and used for your life. And so I teach mothers how to use this, how to repair it and reconnect it and all those things. I teach mothers how to use this for their children, how to send their birth flow to them. It's good medicine whenever someone is sick, or when they need a little bit of something, or if you're mothering and you're not sure what to do. There's descriptions of this in my book of kind of how to send this to children, because children don't come with a manual, so it actually can kind of feed you and give you energy medicine to mother that child. Or I've used it when my children were in surgery or other things. It can also be just for fun when they're having a birthday, and you can celebrate them and just have them download a little bit more of their chi, or if they're feeling a little bit lost. So there's beautiful ways to use this current as a mother. Now let's just say for me or you as a grown-up, it's no longer really through our birth mother, because we're a grown-up now. And so I think of it from the great mother. It's like the mother that is in the wild or in nature, or I'm sitting here in my yard where I like to meditate. And if you think of this more expanded place, so think of the earth mother holding you and this doorway as a place to access more of your medicine. So the way I'm going to do this meditation in a moment, I'm going to teach you how to do this. But if you think of, you can actually open this field and you can bring down more of your energy current. And your energy current to me is all the medicine you need for this life. So it helps bring healing whenever you need it. It's an honoring and a celebration of who you are. It reminds you that you are sacred. So it's very restorative, it can be repair when you need it. And it's also good in a time like now when we're just, lots happening and things are being reset. It kind of helps bring down a little bit more of knowing and medicine of just who you are, and guides you forward. Really, before we put our authority in outer structures, we put our authority in outer structures in school or work or other frameworks of society. We had more of an internal reference point, maybe even in our own village or our own tribe, but this energy current was part of that. People went to the wild and sometimes got really quiet and did a process that helped get them in touch more with their own essence of who they are. So I think of it a little bit like this. It's like downloading a little bit more of your essence, and it's remembering that there is this dynamic interplay between you and the mystery that we forget sometimes when we're really busy. And birthdays are fun because we honor ourselves a little bit and we honor who we are. But it's also a time to just remember and receive, because that doorway is a little more open every time you're around your birthday. So, you may feel it. You may feel a little bit more joyful, a little bit more, lightness coming and presence coming to you, blessings. So think of it as a time to receive a little bit of your own energetic blessing and chi, just to give you what you need in this time. This is how we're meant to use this energy, as it comes in and it brings what we need, because we don't always know what we're going to need in that moment. So it can come in and come into our cells, and I think of it as a download where we receive this and it gives us whatever healing or guidance or fresh inspiration, or maybe just reminds us who we are at a core level. So that's it in a nutshell. And really the explanation is the biggest part of it, because it's such a simple meditation. And I write about doing this for your adult self in Wild Creative. So this is written down if you want to read it more or understand it more. So let's go through the exercise, okay? So take a moment and just get comfortable and pick a place in nature, a place that you love. Could be a real place or imagined place in your mind's eye, if there's a certain landscape that appeals to you that you want to just bring in as your Earth Mother. your great mother. So feel into that and see that. It might be the ocean, it might be the forest, it might be your own backyard. Just see it in your mind's eye and really begin to feel it. So it's helpful if you can imagine the smell of the place, and you can imagine the color and the texture that would be there in that place. And if you can sense into the vibration of that space, what would it feel like? And really let it hold you the way a mother does, the way the earth does hold us if we let her. Feel into that. And then imagine there's this doorway kind of behind you, a little bit above your head, and it looks like a mandala. That's kind of how I think of it. It might have kind of crystal aspects to it, but see that it's like an aperture in the energy field, and invite that to open for you. And let it open. And sometimes if you've had a difficult birth or you have challenges in your mother line, it's good to just imagine clearing that doorway off a little bit. Just, you might imagine a little feather or a little broom or something that's washing, just clearing that doorway, clearing and releasing anything that maybe was actually there, or if you had a traumatic birth or anything that you know, just dust it off. Let it get nice and clear, because you don't have to hold that in your birth field anymore. Your birth field is yours and it's precious. It doesn't have to hold any trauma or difficulty. So dust that off. Let Spirit help you. Because you are loved, you are cherished, you are held, you are celebrated, you are unique and precious. And then now let that birth door open. So let it open behind you, and let that crystalline mandala open in all of its radiance and all of its beauty that allowed you to pass into a body, that allowed you to become spirit in body. It's a sacred experience to come from spirit into body. So allow that to open wide, and with that great mother energy, really feel your value and that you're cherished. So whatever mothering you received, you really get the experience of being held and celebrated and honored in the fullness of who you are. Now when that feels open, now let that current of energy, that birth flow, that chi from the divine realm, from spirit, from the stars, let it come down through that doorway. Feel it coming down, and let it touch the crown of your head. So it reminds you that you are sacred, that you're connected to a deeper place, that you're connected to the mystery. And then let it wash down your body. Kind of feel it washing down and just resetting you any place you need reset. And so when it touches the crown, it really reminds you that you are sacred and you're connected to the mystery, and you're part of the mystery, and thus you get to receive the blessings. Then let it wash down to your third eye and your inner mental space. So it really reminds you of the deeper possibilities, so that your visions become more true to who you are. So any limited thinking patterns can wash down into the earth, and just let this reset. Let this reset the beauty that you are and the mystery that you are, and that your visions can really match that more, that potential. Beautiful. And then let it wash down to your fifth chakra, so your throat, and any place where you have expression that isn't quite in alignment with the sacredness of who you are. Let that wash away, and let this reset, where you really get to understand your expression as divine and your expression as multi-layered and multifaceted, and wash in this soul current to help you to strengthen your expression, to let it really reflect who you are. And then let it come down. I like to just touch it in all the chakras. Let it touch your heart. To really activate the love. First of all, just before you even love anyone else, that you love yourself, and you understand that you are loved and lovable, and that the sacred holds you and knows you and honors you and celebrates you. So feel that in your heart. Feel the love that is here for you. And let that wash in and heal any places that you got any other messaging that you weren't sacred or lovable. Let it really restore the sacred in your heart. And then continue to let it wash down. Again, this is your birth flow, connected to the divine through that doorway, down into your belly. Let it repair your umbilicus. Spirit just loves this. Spirit loves us so much. So let it repair your belly, where you were connected to your mother. Let it really repair that connection in whatever way is needed, and let it fully repair your sense of being able to be sacred and in a body. We often have a separation between spirit and body in this realm on the physical plane. So this is a repair where we get to be both spirit and body, sacred embodiment. So feel that, and that's your third chakra, your place of power. And power is not domination or control. We have that confused. Power is presence. Power is being fully present and alive to the mystery and the magic of who you are. So let that download all the way into your belly so you really feel it and you really are that. And then let that current continue down to your beautiful pelvic bowl where all of your creativity and your creative partnerships arises, and let it again refresh that place so you really get to be activated in the truth of your creative abilities, in the feminine and the masculine and the interplay between those two, and your ability to create and manifest your life. So bring that soul energy all the way down where we are creating on the physical plane in that space, and let it bring healing for any pain you've experienced, any fractures in relationships, or any messaging about creativity that you're not creative somehow. Bring healing to that space, or any feminine wounding or masculine wounding. Bring healing from this current down to your pelvic bowl, and let it really sit there and begin to marinate. Now bring it down to your root chakra, your pelvic floor, your legs and your feet, like you're running on this earth and you are full of the embodiment of your flow, of your energy, of your pureness from this divine mystery place. Let it download into your root chakra, your sense of belonging, your sense of tribe, and repair for that in whatever way is needed, and all the way into your legs and feet so that you can stand in the beauty of who you are, and you can reflect that in your, not only your body, but in your life. So let that wash down, and it's clearing out any pain or other messaging, and it's bringing in the beauty fully of who you are. Now take a moment and just set an intention or two. Imagine a little altar in front of you of just what you would like to set an intention for you, beautiful you, for the sacredness of you. Set an intention there. Might be words, might be images, but it's good to set intentions and put power into that place of consciousness of your own creative field and the mystery of that, being spirit and body. So sit with that intention, and then let your birth field really light it up. Power of your creativity, the power of who you are, the mystery of who you are, the uniqueness that you are here in this time, in this body. Really honoring that. And once again, just feeling the Earth Mother, the Great Mother, holding you in your beauty, holding you in love, holding you in celebration, and saying, be as big and beautiful and bright as you can be, because we need you here. We need you fully embodied in your truth and your radiance and the gifts that you came to bring and the unique work that you're here to do. We need you fully alive and knowledgeable of this and embodied in this, and we celebrate it and we see it and we welcome it. Beautiful. So invite those spirit helpers and invite that earth energy to come and sit with you and weave around your field. And it helps seal this in, helps seal this beauty in. It's protective, it acts like a filter, so it just gives you this buffer so you can really be in your radiance and you can trust it and you can hold it. And then now see that aperture behind you, that crystal doorway. See it close down a little bit. You don't need it wide open. It's good to open it, download a little bit, and then close it so you don't walk around wide open. But know that you have this whenever you need it. Whenever you need a little dose of your own precious energy, when you need the medicine that it contains, when you need the reminder that it contains, when you need the healing that it contains, or the strength, or even when you just need fresh inspiration of this beauty that you carry. It's right there. Just open up your field and bring it in. May you know that you are beautiful. May you know that you are loved. And may you embody all that you are. Happy birthday.